How long is Angel Reese going to last in professional sports? I don't care who you are.
Just now, Angel Reese attacked Caitlin Clark fans while sharing underwear photos. While Caitlin Clark continues to dominate the court with her unmatched talent and professionalism, a storm of controversy has erupted.
Caitlin Clark just came in to play basketball. All of a sudden, the black women of the WNBA decided to knock her on her ass from behind. All of a sudden, the black women, Angel Reese and her teammates, decided to cheer for them. All of a sudden, other black women decided, like Asia Wilson, to be idiots when talking about her, jealous when they're talking about her. Caitlin Clark and her fans didn't start anything.
This time, fueled by Angel Reese. Rather than letting her game speak for itself, Reese has found herself in the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Now she has taken to two things that, well, most women go to in sports when it's not going their way: shaking their ass and calling people racist.
Not only did she lash out at Caitlin Clark's loyal fan base, but she also managed to contradict her own earlier statements by sharing provocative photos online.
Caitlin Clark has been the best thing, the most dominant thing to happen to the WNBA ever. Remember, there's been good players come out of college, but nobody really cared. We'd seen it. Nobody really cared.
This move has left fans questioning, is Reese focused on her basketball career, or is she more interested in building controversy and chasing clout? What's truly shocking is the contrast between these two athletes. Caitlin Clark, hailed as a hero and a beacon of hope for the WNBA, has dedicated herself to the sport, rising above the noise to inspire fans and teammates alike.
You know, for whatever reason, they decide to get themselves involved, whether it is actually malintent or maybe they just want to get themselves in the headline. A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlin Clark, not to mention just overall, Caitlin Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
Her professionalism, relentless drive, and jaw-dropping performances have won her a massive following and the respect of even her toughest critics. Meanwhile, Angel Reese seems determined to take the opposite path, choosing drama and online antics over hard work and growth. Instead of addressing criticism with grace, Reese has chosen to go after her detractors, even mocking fans who dared to call out her inefficiencies on the court.
I went to a Fever game, and I saw a bunch of little kids wearing 22 jerseys, and if this idiot thinks it's because I'm wearing this jersey because I don't like Angel Reese.
This behavior begs the question, why does Reese appear so threatened by Clark and her fans? While Caitlin Clark focuses on building a legacy of greatness, Reese's energy seems misplaced in personal attacks and poorly thought out PR stunts.
What's a lesbian look like? Angry. You got the angry African-American lesbian who just can't handle somebody coming into their league as a white girl with a bunch of attention.
The situation becomes even more ironic when you consider how Reese had previously spoken out about feeling over-sexualized, only to turn around and post revealing pictures that contradict her own message. As Clark's star rises higher, could Reese's actions be a desperate attempt to stay relevant in an era dominated by Clark's brilliance? Let's dive into this explosive situation to uncover the full story.
There is nobody interesting in the WNBA past or present except for Caitlin Clark. They've all shown themselves to be sexist, racist, petty, ridiculous.
Angel Reese has made waves recently, but not for her skills on the basketball court. Instead, her actions outside the game have become the center of attention. One of the most glaring issues is the hypocrisy surrounding her stance on being over-sexualized in the public eye. Reese once publicly lamented how women athletes are judged and objectified rather than celebrated for their athletic abilities. This message struck a chord with many as it highlighted a real issue in women's sports. However, Reese's subsequent actions have left people scratching their heads. Shortly after making these statements, she posted a series of provocative underwear photos on her social media, igniting backlash from fans and critics alike.
Angel Reese being a massive hypocrite because, well, she didn't want to be over-sexualized, but she's posting some brand new underwear pics, some brand new draws pics, but you're still posting all these three-quarter naked pictures out there, and you're wanting to play the victim. It's a bad look.
The inconsistency in her behavior has not gone unnoticed. Fans have questioned whether Reese is genuinely concerned about the issue, or if she's using controversy to stay in the spotlight. Posting revealing photos after publicly denouncing the over-sexualization of female athletes sends a conflicting message.
Caitlin Clark is just such a class act. She was incredible, breaking all types of records, and that's something she was certainly proud of. We saw lots of smiles on the court.
Caitlin is the face right now, and that's also good. Like, she's selling out gyms, of course. Like, why would you hate against that?
stage. For someone who claims to be fighting stereotypes, Reese's actions only seem to reinforce them. This hypocrisy has drawn criticism not just from casual fans, but also from those within the sports community who expect more from someone in her position. Her critics argue that Reese's focus should be on refining her game and setting an example for aspiring athletes rather than seeking attention through polarizing actions.
There are still people who seemingly feel like they just don't want Caitlyn to be a part of it. Because with Caitlyn comes millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs. And with those millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs, unfortunately, is going to come some people who are not nice.
What makes this situation even more troubling is the timing. Reese's off-court antics come during a period when women's basketball is gaining momentum, largely thanks to athletes like Caitlin Clark. Clark's rise has brought a newfound respect to the sport, showcasing what happens when talent and professionalism take center stage. In stark contrast, Reese's behavior risks pulling the sport backward, feeding into negative stereotypes that female athletes have fought hard to overcome. Fans are left wondering why Reese would jeopardize her reputation and credibility for short-term attention when she has the potential to make a real impact on the court.
Caitlin Clark is becoming the best player, not because she's white, because she's that good. She's having Larry Bird impact. She's been the driving force of the hottest team in the entire league despite her record turnovers. Why? Because she's that good. She's legit good. She's colorblind good. She's guilt-free good. She's apolitically good.
This disconnect between words and actions paints a picture of someone unsure of her priorities. Instead of using her platform to elevate her game and support the growth of women's basketball, Reese appears to be caught up in the allure of social media fame. While athletes like Caitlin Clark continue to focus on their craft, Reese's decisions have only served to fuel criticism, making her an easy target for those who see her actions as undermining the progress of women in sports. As Reese tries to juggle her public image, the cracks in her strategy are becoming impossible to ignore. Angel Reese's issues don't stop at her questionable off-court decisions. She has also gained notoriety for her confrontational approach toward fans, particularly those who criticize her performance. Professional athletes are no strangers to criticism. It comes with the territory of being in the spotlight, but instead of taking feedback in stride, Reese has chosen to fire back, engaging in arguments that many consider unprofessional and counterproductive.
This is the problem that a lot of people have with Caitlin Clark fans and supporters. They don't buy into it. You hate it when they're here. You don't like their presence. Oh my God, look at what they're doing. They're so awful. Then when they leave the Caitlin flight, oh my God, what do we do now?
One such instance involved a fan who pointed out her low shooting efficiency. Rather than ignoring the comment or responding with grace, Reese retaliated with a defensive and sarcastic remark. She boasted about being drafted 7th overall and making the All-Star team despite her low shooting stats, framing this as a personal victory. However, this response backfired spectacularly. Fans were quick to highlight that shooting 39% from the field, especially for someone in her position, was not the accomplishment she seemed to think it was. Instead of silencing her critics, Reese's words only fueled the fire, with many calling her out for celebrating mediocrity. The situation escalated further when the fan clapped back, pointing out that Reese's shooting stats were inflated by simple putbacks, and that she still missed an alarming number of layups. Rather than gracefully bowing out of the argument, Reese doubled down, making the exchange look more like a petty social media feud than a conversation between a professional athlete and a fan. This incident only served to tarnish her image, as many viewed her inability to handle criticism as a sign of immaturity and thin skin.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! Never! You never hear that. Now, that's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league.
What's particularly ironic is that Reese seemed oblivious to the bigger picture. These fans, despite their critiques, are part of the growing audience that women's basketball desperately needs. Attacking the very people who support the sport undermines the progress that athletes like Caitlin Clark have worked so hard to achieve. Clark, for example, has faced her fair share of detractors, but remains focused on her game, letting her performances speak louder than any social media post. Reese's behavior, on the other hand, reflects poorly not just on her, but on the league as a whole, reinforcing negative perceptions about the professionalism of women's basketball players. While it's natural for any athlete to feel defensive when criticized, Reese's inability to rise above petty comments has only damaged her reputation. Instead of using this feedback as motivation to improve, she's chosen to lash out, further alienating the fans she should be working to win over.
WNBA players and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have done everything they can to diminish the impact of Caitlin Clark. They tried to convince us that there are other players in the dump capable of drawing an audience. They tried to convince us that other players deserve the spotlight.
Her actions suggest a lack of self-awareness and a misplaced sense of priorities, making her more known for her off-court drama than her on-court achievements.
My advice to Caitlin: kind of keep your mouth shut, because everybody is looking for you to say anything and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane. That should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up.
At the heart of Angel Reese's controversies lies an undeniable narrative, the stark contrast between her and Caitlin Clark, two players representing wildly different approaches to the game and its culture. Caitlin Clark has become a symbol of what women's basketball aspires to be, a player who lets her skills and discipline do the talking. Her dedication to excellence on the court has inspired fans worldwide, drawing new audiences to the sport and showcasing how talent and hard work can elevate women's basketball to new heights. In stark contrast, Angel Reese's recent actions highlight a focus on personal drama and social media stunts, distracting from her potential as an athlete.
Caitlin Clark is box office. She is a star. Who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before.
Clark's supporters see her as a trailblazer, someone who carries herself with poise and purpose. She's the type of player who elevates her teammates, commands respect from her opponents, and most importantly, keeps her focus squarely on the game. Reese, on the other hand, has taken a different path. Whether it's through her public feuds, her provocative posts, or her defensive social media spats, Reese has built a reputation for courting controversy rather than commanding respect. These differences have fueled a growing divide in the fan base, with Clark's supporters seeing Reese as a stark contrast to everything Clark represents.
I don't think the WNBA is ready for this type of attention that she's bringing. Racism. Everybody's talking about enough with the racist BS. She's nasty. She knows how to ball. Everybody else is jealous. They're pissed off because she's getting this, like, it's ridiculous. And we're never going to advance as a species, and we're never, if he keeps having that type of attitude. It's ridiculous. It's like, what? Everything has to go back to race. Everything has to keep going back to race. She's really good. Let it be that. And the other players should shut the hell up. Like, nobody was talking about your league. Nobody cared about the WNBA until that girl, Caitlin Clark, I don't care what color she is. She's ridiculous. She's nasty. And now people are watching and you guys are talking shit about her. She should leave. She should have got those other contracts, pal. Where does she have a contract to go somewhere else?
The Big Three.
She should have gone to the Big Three. To hell with the WNBA. They're nothing. They're nobody.
The tension reached a boiling point recently when Reese openly mocked Clark's fan base. Instead of appreciating the growing attention women's basketball is receiving, Reese chose to attack those who dared to critique her performance, many of whom are loyal Clark supporters. This move did little more than highlight the widening gap between the two athletes' approaches to their careers. Clark is a leader, someone who inspires admiration even from her detractors. Reese, in comparison, comes across as combative and unable to handle the pressures of professional sports. sports. What makes this rivalry particularly one-sided is how Clark handles herself amid all the noise. While Reese engages in public feuds and fuels unnecessary drama, Clark continues to shine by doing what she does best, playing basketball at an elite level. Her performances on the court make headlines, not her interactions on social media. Fans have noticed this difference, with many calling Clark the face of the future for the sport, while Reese risks becoming a cautionary tale. Instead of focusing on her supposed rivalry with Clark, Reese would do well to focus on elevating her game, as Clark has set a high bar that others will struggle to reach.
The WNBA tried to capitalize on her popularity and crammed a lot of games in over a short amount of time, playing against the best teams in the WNBA.
There is a lot of appropriate attention on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and we found out that the Fever Storm game from over the weekend drew 2.2 million viewers, which is massive. The WNBA has 18 games this season where they've had more than 1 million viewers average, and 16 of those 18 have featured Caitlin Clark. So you cannot deny the connectivity of Caitlin Clark playing basketball and people wanting to watch. If she's playing, they will come, they will watch the game.
The unfortunate truth is that Reese's attempts to overshadow Clark have only magnified their differences. While Clark is celebrated for her humility and brilliance, Reese's actions paint her as someone more focused on creating headlines than creating history. The rivalry may exist in Reese's mind, but to Clark and her fans, it's clear who is setting the example for the next generation of athletes. Caitlin Clark continues to prove why she's the standard bearer for excellence in women's basketball. While others engage in unnecessary drama and public spats, Clark keeps her head down, focusing on her game and inspiring the next generation of athletes. Her professionalism, dedication, and sheer talent are setting the benchmark for what it means to be a true sports icon. Unfortunately, players like Angel Reese seem to be missing the point.
There's a league with players that feel like they should be getting the attention. Now they have center stage, but the ratings are going to go down. Are they going to be pointing fingers and blaming Indiana Fever fans and Caitlin Clark fans whenever the ratings don't stay the same?
Yeah, they will.
Reese's actions, from contradicting her own statements to lashing out at fans, have only drawn attention to her shortcomings rather than her strengths. Instead of building her legacy on the court, she's embroiled in controversies that detract from the sport itself. It's a stark reminder of the choices every athlete faces, to be remembered for their contributions to the game or for the distractions they bring. This isn't just about two players, it's about the future of women's basketball. Athletes like Caitlin Clark are showing that the sport has the potential to transcend stereotypes and earn its place in the spotlight, not because of drama, but because of excellence. Reese has the opportunity to turn things around, to refocus her energy on the game, and to rise above the noise. But as it stands now, she risks being left behind as Clark's star continues to soar.
What is she doing wrong? What more do you want from Caitlin Clark? Seriously, what more do you want from her? She's focusing on the game. She lifted her team up, got them to the playoffs, won Rookie of the Year, and then also is denouncing racial tensions when she's asked about it. I'm sorry, I don't see anything more that Caitlin Clark should have done or could have done.
As fans, we can only hope that athletes like Reese recognize the responsibility they carry, not just to themselves, but to the league and its growing audience. Clark has set the example, proving that respect and success are earned through hard work, not by engaging in petty arguments or chasing social media clout. The choice is clear, and for now, the path forward belongs to Caitlin Clark. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Is Angel Reese letting her potential slip away, or can she still rise to meet the example Caitlin Clark is setting? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates and insights. Women's basketball is evolving, and we'll be here every step of the way to bring you the latest.